Happy Friday morning. Is April 23rd, 2021. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Friday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Friday morning, so let's begin. First up, we're going to take a quick check of your weather from meteorologist Kevin Scriba. The weather right now is 33 degrees and sunny. And Kevin Scriba is saying warm and breezy weekend. Let's take a listen to that full weather forecast from meteorologist Kevin Scriba right now.
To be a part of the team at Caesar Chimney Service, the only prerequisite is be just a little bit crazy. We can train you to do everything that we do.
The wind will continue on our Friday, probably not as gusty as yesterday, and as you will notice, temperatures certainly milder. Yesterday, stuck in the 30s in places, lower and mid-40s elsewhere. We're up into the 50s today with that westerly wind, still gusting over 30 miles an hour as we go through the afternoon. Brighter for us on Saturday. It will be breezy and milder. We'll have temperatures in the afternoon up into the 60s and what should be the better of the 2 days over the weekend. We're calling it some showers for Sunday. A lot of the latest maps coming in don't give us quite the rainfall that we've been seeing on the maps the last couple of days, but nonetheless, clouds, cooler temperatures, and occasional showers for Sunday. You can see the last of the clouds continuing to file away early this morning. Still a few flurries and a couple of light snow showers out there in spots, but the trend will be for brighter skies into the afternoon. Next system back to the west, area of low pressure to our south and west, and another one out to our west. We were expecting both of those to merge into one larger system, but the maps really have not been doing that this morning and may lessen the attempted beneficial rainfall for us for the day on Sunday. 50s for most into the afternoon. Of course, with the wind, it won't quite feel that way, but with a good deal of sunshine away from the mountains, it will be up into the 50s this afternoon, very close to our averages for this time of year. 30s to lower 40s, partly cloudy skies. Breeze goes down to 5 to 15 miles an hour overnight. And that breeze will still be noticeable tomorrow. It just won't be as gusty into the afternoon at generally 10 to 20 miles an hour with temperatures up into the 60s. And yes, a couple of southern spots could even try to attempt to reach 70 briefly in the afternoon. We are looking at an increase in clouds Saturday night, cooler temperatures, 50s for Sunday, along with some occasional shower activity. As that low moves away, winds wrap up out of the northwest behind it for one more day on Monday, and then a weak area of high pressure settles in, along with warmer temperatures building in from the west that should push temperatures up into the 60s Tuesday and a jump into the 70s for both Wednesday and Thursday. For the time being, we're in the 50s today with the winds gusting at times over 30 miles an hour. A little bit lighter of a wind with milder sunshine tomorrow as temperatures jump another 10 degrees into the 60s. It will be cooler with occasional showers on Sunday, and then you'll notice that warming trend heading into next week.
And there you go on that weather, everyone. Warm and breezy this weekend. Wow. And now let's take a look at your COVID-19 numbers in New Hampshire. There are 92,911 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. There are 1,274 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And there are 112 current number of hospitalizations for COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And that is a look at your COVID-19 numbers in New Hampshire. Positive trends seen in New Hampshire's COVID-19 numbers. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Tractor has been in our family since 1955, when great-grandfather Pearlie and our grandfather George decided to sell.
The state epidemiologist says key numbers like hospitalizations, deaths, and the test positivity rate are slowly trending lower in New Hampshire.
This is a trend we hope will continue, but just to stress that the levels of community spread continue to be high, and so getting the COVID-19 vaccine is one of the most important things people can do right now to protect themselves, to protect their families, to protect their communities.
Dr. Chan is still urging social distancing, avoiding large gatherings, and wearing masks in public, even if vaccinated, and even though the statewide mask mandate is no longer in effect.
Regardless of whether there's a mask mandate or not, we, public health, and the state will continue to recommend that masks be used.
And continue the campaign to urge vaccinations at more than 200 sites across the state, using public service ads and billboards, especially trying to reach people in counties with lower vaccine sign-up rates.
Those counties, they just haven't experienced as high level of COVID as other areas, which might be a contributing factor for why some folks are a little more hesitant to get it. They don't see the immediacy of it, which, of course, it is an immediate need. Everyone really has to be a part of that community.
And the governor says over the next month or so, the state will start the transition to more pharmacies and primary care doctors giving out vaccines where some people could feel more comfortable. Live in the studio tonight, Jean Mackin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Uptick in travel seen at Manchester-Boston Regional Airport ahead of spring vacation week. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
The past year has tested the toughness of every last one of us. Mahindra tractors have been there for our tough customers as they continue working the land, feeding.
More planes are taking off from the Manchester-Boston Regional Airport than last April. An average of 1,300 passengers a day are flying out as we near spring vacation week, compared with about 120 a day this time last year. But that's still less than half pre-pandemic spring travel levels, about 3,000 outbound passengers a day.
Still a long way to go, but certainly a lot better than it was this time last year.
Governor Sununu says airlines have done a good job requiring masks and managing crowds, but he says another aspect of travel can lead to a bump in new COVID-19 cases.
I think anytime we see a holiday, right, we get a little bit concerned. When you vacation, you're just more social. You're hanging out with your family or friends or whatever it is. You're visiting folks. And so obviously there's that tendency to see a natural bump post-holiday. And I imagine I suspect we'll see that as well.
But he also says with many in vulnerable groups fully vaccinated, a potential increase in cases may not necessarily mean a rise in deaths.
If that bump, as we have over the past few weeks, exists in a younger population, a population that is has a bit more strength to manage the symptoms that can come with that, that's exactly why our fatality rate is just so low right now.
As for the Manchester-Boston Regional Airport, they hope the number of daily passengers will soar as more people are fully vaccinated.
You're not only traveling through a clean airport environment, but a disinfected airport environment. And that you fly local as much as you can.
Monica Hernandez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Drilling rig falls into river in Peterborough. Let's take a listen to that video and that report.
Tractor has been in our family since 1955, when great-grandfather Pearlie and our grandfather George decided to sell tractors.
Work on a major part of the Route 202 bridge project came to an abrupt stop Thursday morning when this drilling rig tumbled down the side of the embankment.
This machine was working to set piles in the bank that will be used to create that retaining wall.
The heavy machinery skidding to a stop on its side. Fortunately, the operator was not hurt, and the fast action of the Peterborough Fire Department helped stop any further issues.
We deployed the fire department boat into the Kentucky River, set up some booms to capture any fuel that may have spilled into the river.
Chief Ed Walker says his department is confident there was no fuel spill into the river. However, However, the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services spill response team was called in to verify.
We're able to stop any fuel from, additional fuel from leaking into the ground.
Right now, the biggest task beyond righting this rig is figuring out what caused the accident in the first place.
The bank is still intact. The roadway that the crane or the pile driver was operating on is still intact. It was on some heavy timbers. Those timbers are still in place.
On its Facebook page, town officials say a detailed investigation will take place to determine if the accident will delay the ongoing bridge project. I'm Nicole Lally, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire to reinstate work search requirement for unemployment benefits. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Summit Packaging Systems is hiring for all shifts. Summit knows stability, security, and growth are extremely valuable. You'll develop skills to succeed and earn steady income and benefits. Apply online at summitpackagingsystems.com/careers today.
At a 3% unemployment rate, as was reported recently, New Hampshire continues to have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country.
Governor Chris Sununu announcing starting May 23rd, people collecting unemployment in New Hampshire will have to prove they are actively searching for a job.
Over the next month, we will be reintroducing our work search requirement at New Hampshire Employment Security. It does not mean that if you can't find work that you'll lose unemployment, not at all.
Last year, the state waived the work search requirement due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The governor says while the economy is once again doing well, the state is also facing a possible workforce shortage.
Our economy has come absolutely roaring back, and today there are, as was mentioned, thousands of job shortages. There are tens of thousands of high-paying jobs across the state available today.
Governor Sununu says a recent virtual job fair featured 100 employers with thousands of jobs, and only 140 people showed up. Is there a particular industry in New Hampshire that you're concerned about being underemployed at all?
All of them. I don't know anyone who isn't looking for workers right now. I've heard from all the industries, especially tourism industry right now is a big one as folks try to get at least that seasonal worker.
And now to help people find work, the governor says more job fairs are scheduled. Also starting May 10th, all of New Hampshire Works job centers, they will be open. That is starting on May 10th. In Concord, Jessica Marin, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Man wanted in connection with Manchester shooting, arrest warrant issued. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Tractor has been in our family since 1955, when great-grandfather Pearlie and our grandfather George decided to sell tractors out of...
A man is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries after a shooting on South Willow Street last night. It happened just after 9 p.m. near DraftKings. Police say there was an altercation between two men and several shots were fired. One of those men was taken to Elliott Hospital. Investigators say they found a firearm and several shell casings in the area. Police are asking anyone with information to give them a call.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Explosion that rattled several New Hampshire towns, believed to be from gender reveal party. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability, durability.
It happened around 7 p.m. Tuesday night on the property of Torromeo Industries, startling neighbors in Kingston and neighboring towns.
To have something like this occur outside normal business hours, and of all of the blasts that I have experienced, nothing was as loud as what we experienced on Tuesday night.
The sound was captured on a home surveillance system miles away in Plastow. For some, it knocked pictures off the wall. For others, they told authorities cracks formed in their home's foundation.
This just caught us completely off guard.
Police say 80 pounds of a substance known as tannerite exploded during a gender reveal party. The substance is an over-the-counter explosive target used for firearms practice. The person who purchased and detonated the tannerite is cooperating with investigators.
It comes with that oxidizer. The fuel's in a separate packet. You mix it, and then once it's mixed, you would place it someplace safely out in some kind of a range where you would then shoot it.
The state police bomb squad says tannerite can be dangerous if not used properly.
For example, you're doing it near private property where the explosion could damage property, start a fire, start a wildfire, something of that nature. There's statutes that pertain to all of that. If used improperly or irresponsibly, the consequences could be very serious.
The police chief tells us this investigation will continue and charges may be possible. Reporting in Kingston, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. CDC panel to decide on Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Tonight's matchup, me versus an ugly fender bender. If I can eke out a win, it's going to be a miracle, baby.
Oh, it wouldn't be a miracle because Geico gives you a team of experts to help manage your claim.
Geico is awesome, baby.
Geico. Other news this Thursday night to the coronavirus here in the U.S. and that high-stakes meeting tomorrow with the CDC on the future of the Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccine here in the U.S. Now, we know in Europe they have resumed using it with a warning attached, but regulators there saying that the benefit far outweighs the risk. So will the U.S. follow suit? And it all comes as we now witness a slowdown in vaccinations in this country. The daily average number of shots has now fallen below 3 million a day. That's the first time in weeks. And authorities say that reflects in part some of the hesitancy in folks who have yet to get the shot. 134,286,000 people have received at least one dose. That's 52% of all adults now. And tonight, the CDC acknowledging that it is now looking again at its mask guidelines. So could there be changes there? And news on cases of the virus even after getting the vaccine, what are called breakthrough infections. And there's some encouraging news on that front tonight. So here's our senior national correspondent, Steve Osensami from the CDC in Atlanta.
Any future use of the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine could be decided tomorrow by a CDC advisory panel. Because it's a single shot, it's become an important tool in fighting the coronavirus.
We need to make a decision quickly, and I'm really hopeful that we'll be able to use the vaccine soon.
U.S. health officials put use of the vaccine on hold after 6 women developed rare blood clots after getting the shot. Tomorrow, they could continue with that hold or join health officials in Europe, who just days ago decided that the benefits outweigh the risks and have cleared the vaccine to be used with a safety warning. Across the country, it appears fewer people are rushing to get immunized, with thousands of appointments sitting empty and some vaccination places shutting down.
When 16 and older opened, I did expect a rush. And it never materialized.
For the first time in weeks, the daily average of shots put into arms has fallen below 3 million doses a day.
Obviously, there is an element of vaccine hesitancy or concern that we need to address.
The scientists have put together this map. The areas in darker blue show where Americans are resisting the vaccine the most. In Boston, they're trying hard to get Black and brown communities vaccinated, setting aside 20,000 doses.
We know the Latinx, Hispanic community is lagging behind. We need to share information. We need to make it easy for them to make an appointment to get vaccinated, and that's what we're doing.
With more Americans getting more immune, there's a new debate over rules requiring face masks. In New York City, for example.
If you want to get rid of the masks, if you want to get rid of the social distancing, if you want to get rid of the restrictions, go get vaccinated.
Scientists at the CDC today announced that they might actually revisit their guidelines on outdoor masks.
We will be looking at the outdoor masking question, but it's also in the context of the fact that we still have people who are dying of COVID.
So we'll wait for more guidance on that. In the meantime, Steve, the CDC director today also talked about what we're seeing in people in this country who've been vaccinated
and then still became infected with the virus. Very rare cases, but they were actually encouraged by what they're seeing as far as symptoms.
That's right, David. There's a bit of discussion about what they're calling breakthrough infections, and those are infections that happen to people who've already been vaccinated. The CDC says that their studies show that if you get one of these infections and you've been vaccinated, that your symptoms will most likely be milder and you are less likely to spread the disease to someone else. David?
All right, Steve Ostensami tonight. Steve.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Goodbye.